But I think the only other difference that I can think of is that the C7 has the integrated FM transmitter for listening to music. That's not implemented in the C6.
And has there been any change in the power level of the FM transmitter at which it can broadcast? Because some of the older devices have a bit of a problem with the signal not being strong enough.
Yeah, the power output on FM transmission is dictated not by the device but by the regulatory authorities. In the States, the FCC mandates a very, very low power level, the lowest anywhere in the world. Europe is actually pretty good, but there are some other places where they mandate lower power requirements. So we're as good as we can possibly get without infringing the regulations. And in fact, to such an extent that actually when you plug a charger cable in, the performance of the FM transmitter automatically improves, because you're just radiating more power because the cable acts as an improved antenna. Because that then infringes the regulation, the maximum power, we have to wind the power back down in order to comply. So we're as close as we can possibly get to those.
Is there a possibility of getting a user menu in which, for example, if I travel to a place which regulation allows me to broadcast at a higher frequency, I can then maybe manually pump it up at my own expense. If I would be the person caught doing it, then I'd face the consequences rather than Nokia, because you would put it at the default level, but by downloading a particular application and pumping it up further, I've changed it. So technically that'll put Nokia in the clear, and then at least let the user make use of the FM transmitter as such.
That's not something that we could really comment on. I mean, we have to make our devices which will comply with the regulations to the best of our abilities, and it's not. There are always going to be some people who could do hacks and so on. In the same way as there are DRM devices that could, applications that can crack DRM and so on, but that's always third party.
Does it have the DLNA?
It doesn't support DNLA, no.
How about is it the same video editor as N8?
Yeah. So the video capabilities, so video capture and video rendering are exactly the same. Okay. So the engine is doing exactly the same work. So 720p at 30 frames per second. It's rendering 30 frames per second. It's capturing 25 frames per second. So yeah, exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, I was saying about watching. When you look at televisions, and you can immediately compare televisions in a shop, and you can say that one's not as good as that one, but actually, if you've got both of them home individually, they'd be okay. What we find on Nokia C7 is that when you plug this into a television with the standard 3.5mm AV connector, when you do that and watch content on your television, it's more than passable. It's in many cases better than the television reception you get at home delivered through an antenna on your roof. So you can happily watch that all evening. If you then unplug it and then plug in your Nokia N8 with your HDMI, then you notice the difference.
Yeah.
But we don't all live with surround sound. We don't all live with HDMI and so on. So this is more than passable.
So then it has the same features like if you use a Bluetooth mouse, like they showed in the video with the N8.
It's exactly the same.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, you asked about the video editor and the photo editor. Yeah, those are Symbian 3.
Okay.
They're built into the device. Yeah.
Right.
Could you use the flash as torch?
You can use the flash as torch. Yeah. Yeah. If you do a long press on the if you do a long press on the key lock switch, long press to switch on, long press to switch off. Yeah. It switches itself off after a while. I think the other thing to say is I should have started by saying this. Nokia C7 is the same as all of the other devices that we announced yesterday, in that they all support the same range of fantastic services from Ovi Maps, Ovi Store, Ovi Music, and all of the apps that you can run on one will all run on all of the others. So in that respect, it's really nice. And one of the features that we've been pushing quite hard, and I'm sure you've seen people demonstrate it, is the social client. So we set out with C7 to attract consumers who will be wanting to keep in touch through multiple means, not just email or chat or SMS, but also keeping in touch through social networks. And we wanted to make it as easy as possible. So we didn't say, oh yes, of course we've got a Facebook client and a Twitter client and a so-and-so client, and of course you can install Facebook clients and so on. But by having the social client on here, where they're all integrated through the back end, through aggregated through Ovi, we've made it really nice so that people can. I'm not sure if I've got it set. This isn't already set up, but there's a widget here which is the social client. Click on here. It asks you to log in. Give me your details on Facebook. Give me your details on Twitter, whichever social networks that you're on. And from then on, that widget will just show you all of your updates, whatever your social friends are talking about. They're all there. We've been demonstrating that on all of these devices.
So this is kind of pitched. This is the middle of the new devices, and it seems in price and pitch very naturally a kind of 5800 successor. Is this the Symbian 3 device you expect to sell most of?
It's always difficult to predict volumes, to be honest. I know you're not asking me to give you figures, but we're sometimes surprised by what catches on and what doesn't so much. What we have found is that there is a tremendous pull for a device like this. A device that doesn't really have any gaps. When you're ticking all the boxes, it's got a nice camera, yes, it's got a nice display, yes, it does this, yes, it does that. It does all of those things. It's really important for us that when people go into a shop, they don't come out saying, do you know, I was going to buy one of those new Nokia C7s, but it hasn't got a camera or it hasn't got this. We wanted to make sure it ticks all of the boxes, and actually in most respects it ticks them very well.
Plus it has a recycled metal, so that ticks that box as well.
We're very keen on the environmental credentials of these devices, for sure. We're certainly expecting it to ship in good volumes. In terms of operator take-up, we're very keen to see the sort of ranging that we're getting from operators. Operators are very excited by it. They believe that the styling is right, and that the sort of feature set is really good. In any portfolio, you've got to have some features that aren't as good as others. Otherwise, you don't really have a portfolio that works.
And when is it being released? When do we expect to buy one?
During the fourth quarter.
Any more questions, guys, or is that perfect?